Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Aries EDC. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Today, I kind of have something different to share with you guys. Um, so, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but have you ever decided to um, retire a knife? I'm going to put this up here. This is fun. Have you ever decided to retire a knife? Well, I'm going to do that today. Um, and the reason I'm going to is, well, because it's just time. It's time to retire a knife. Um, what am I retiring? Well, I'm retiring one of the knives that I specifically made for me. I don't do it very often. I've only done it a handful of times. Actually, specifically, I've done it 3 times where I was thinking of myself when I set off from the very beginning to make it for me. My very first knife, I made that for me. Um, and then the next one was this. And this is the knife I am going to retire. It has seen better days. The sheath, you could tell, uh, the sheath was so worn that the Kydex completely is smooth because I wore it so much that it completely wore it away. Um, and this is just something that I did. I set out to make this knife specifically for me. This is a bloom. It's not the first bloom I ever made, but it is a bloom that I specifically set out to make for myself. I had this giant thick piece of 440C. And I don't know why, but I decided, yeah, I'm going to do a bloom for myself. I'm going to do a multiple piece construction handle. This is the first time I've done that. First time I've done it at an angle. First time I did it with handle materials that were all different sizes. And yeah, and at the time I was only using the silver nickel pins. The first time I did a bead to match both the handle materials. These are both micarta, which I did a really high polish on. And yeah, I rounded the spine, and that's the knife in profile. And I have beat the holy crud out of this thing. Um, from the very beginning with this knife, I had issues with sharpening it. And I've sharpened it so much that the sharpening choil is pretty much gone because I was having such a hard time finding the sharpening angle. I was at the time I made this knife, I was trying to sharpen on the belt. I didn't have my TS Prof. I didn't have any other means of sharpening. So I really struggled with getting a nice fine edge on this knife. Um, and it worked and it functioned fine for what I was doing. And it was comfortable in the hand. I thinned out that handle material really well because it's such a thick steel. Um, and I have shared this on the channel before. My grinds aren't great. The 440C kind of had that nice texture to it, so I decided to leave that texture in. And, overall, the knife just kind of is what it is. My grinds weren't very good. I was still learning, still, trying to tweak all the things that I'm doing. But this has now seen its day. I haven't been carrying that one as much because now I have this bloom, and you can kind of see where I started and where I've gone to. But this bloom, this wasn't meant to be mine. This was a pass around bloom, and I had every intention on maybe selling it when it came back from the pass around. But when it got back, it had some wear marks and everything else, and I decided, you know what? This one has seen its day. I'm going to keep this. And then I struggled with this because I felt like it's so nice. I probably shouldn't be carrying it every day. But then I was like, you know what? No, I should carry it every day because it is nice. And to tell you the truth, I'm really glad I did, because this is a really good representation of what the bloom should be. Um, this is what this one was, but this is what the bloom should be. The handle should come up here instead of way back here. And I learned a lot of things over the time of making the bloom of where it should be. So this, although at the time when I made it, I thought it was really good, uh, it's seen its day, and it's time to let it go. Not let it go, but kind of put it onto the display board with some of my other retired knives. Um, so it's kind of hard to like do this, but I'm going to put this up on that board uh, so you guys can see it. Um, and I said earlier I've only made 3 knives. This is the only other one that I made specifically for me. And this is my rock hopper. This is my Damascus rock hopper. And I really contemplated on doing a completely rounded handle and spine on a blade, and then shadow boxing the scales on that rounding. And so I decided to use this Bolivian rosewood with the copper pins with this nice Damascus blade. So this was the only other one that I set out to build for myself. And so I have a rock hopper, and I had my bloom, and I had my obsession. And the obsession, I retired that a long time ago because that was the first knife I ever made. So anyway, it's time to set this up on the board with some of the other knives that I have that I just don't use. And I'm going to look at this as something where every time I look up there, I will look and see what was, where I've been in my journey into this thing of knife making, and where I'm going. It's always good to reflect back on where you've been and where you're going with something like this. And I really, really love being able to look back and go, yep, I did that, but now look at where I am. Look at what I'm doing now. And it's fun to see the growth. It's fun to see all of those things. It's really cool, but it's time to set this one up and to use it as a reminder to just keep pushing forward, to keep getting better, and to keep trying new things. So anyway, guys, kind of a sad sad kind of video, but I'm happy because it's just been sitting in my closet with my other stuff, and it's time to put this on a little display where I can see it every day in display to show me where I've been and the journey that I've been on. It's pretty stinking cool. So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. Again, the choice is always yours.